Hi, good evening, everyone. It's evening on my end. I'm recording 4:40 p.m. West African time. So it's a wet and rainy day in Lagos. How's the weather on your end? Do let me know. I'm going to look at UAC numbers. UAC is a conglomerate. As you can see in the video, established in 1879, so it's one of the oldest firms in the country. And this is my forecast for FY 2025. FY 2025 means financial year 2025. UAC runs the financial year from January to December. And in order for me to forecast how I think the 12 months of 2025 would turn out for the firm, I've taken the first quarter numbers and annualized or estimated that that run rate will continue. So as when I drew this table today, just after closing on the market, the stock was trading at 43 naira. First quarter earnings are 1.06, 1 naira and 6 kobo. If you assume that the firm maintains that trajectory, I think you could end FY25 with 4 naira and 24 kobo in earnings. In my view, I think it will be a bit better than that because I believe that Q4 numbers, October, November, December, being the festive period, I think those numbers will accelerate. Now, in case you're wondering why maybe you may have a lower performance compared to last year, there was some FX gains and FX income that wouldn't be occurring this year. So it's not a big deal that you're having a dip year on year in earnings. What's more important is you want to look at the growth net or stripped of those FX gains and see how the operations are. So I think this firm probably would end the year with maybe 4 naira 30 kobo or 4 naira 40 kobo in earnings. Now, FY 2024 dividend was extremely poor. And I remember when this firm released or announced this dividend. In fact, I think I have an article on the Green Ticker Tales website where I quite expressed, I would say, my disappointment with the poor dividend. So the stock was actually even punished for the poor dividend. Now, the downside of this dividend for me, and you see it, is when I tried to do a dividend discount valuation, the valuation just didn't make sense because the dividend is from a low base. So when you're doing your discount model, your dividend discount model, just valuation didn't make sense. So I was then left with enterprise value. Now I could have done a cash flow model, but cash flow model kind of gave me the same, close to the same numbers I had. So I'm sure if you work out your cash flow model, you get the same thing. Now, payout ratio, I think that payout ratio should go up to about 15% for FY25. And in that case, then we could end up with somewhere around 63 kobo in dividends. I think that maybe low case scenario, they probably would do what? Maybe a 10% payout ratio, which I think should be fair. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see maybe 20, 30%. At least you're beating inflation. You are or are at par with the inflation numbers. But if they can do 50 kobo, that would not be too bad. Now, in terms of dividend yield, obviously the stock has rallied, and this comes to my point about it's always nice to buy good stocks at a decent value. I mean, the stock is trading what? 43 naira. If you had bought this stock, if I recall a few months ago when it was trading around 30, 33 naira, then obviously your potential dividend would be made much higher. Your potential dividend yield, rather, would be much higher. So, dividend wise, I mean, except the dividend accelerates, this stock isn't at its current price, isn't very attractive for people who want to enter now in respect of dividends. I mean, except you're dealing with a large sum. So if you're doing a 5 million, 10 million, and you want to go in and out, get your dividends, sell off, take some profit as well, then it may make sense. But if that's not the case, I don't think except this dividend meaningfully accelerates. This isn't a dividend play, but if you're a long-term holder who probably got in when the stock was in what mid 20s, 30s, then sure, dividend yields might actually make sense. And so if you're able to get 1 naira, 1 naira, some couple, then you're earning way more in terms of dividend yield. Now, my 1 year target price is, I'm looking at a target price of about 52 naira. And how did I arrive at that? I tried to skip away the complex part of calculations, but all you need to do is to say, look, what's the enterprise value of this stock? An enterprise value is a simple formula. You take your market cap, strip it of the debt. Luckily, this firm has very little debt, and you get an enterprise value of about 121 billion. Divide that by the number of shares, 2.9, and then you get what? 41 naira as enterprise value. Now, if you're going by that, you would say, well, the stock is trading slightly higher than enterprise value. But if we have a 1 year trajectory, I'm going to say, look, because you're estimating with first quarter um, results anyway, you still have 9 months to go. If you assume that you can easily grow earnings at about what, 25% or so, then you can easily have 50 naira as your enterprise value beyond that. So it all depends on how you look at things. If you're using a baseline of what, maybe 10%, then you might say 44, 45. I think 10% is too low. I think a baseline will be 20 or 15%. So you can work out the numbers, even if you were to use a a what? A 15% growth in enterprise value. That probably, if my math says me correct, should be about 47 or 48 naira. So in any case, this is my own 1 year target price. I'm looking at a potential upside of 21%. Add the potential dividend, and probably looking at 22 odd percent. So in some cases, well, I believe it probably will be slightly lower than what inflation is, or just about par with inflation. As always, please note that I think I have it on this page, and I'll go back. Please note, this is not investment or trading advice. Do your own research. This is my research. It's not bulletproof. Nobody is bulletproof. So you have to do your own research. And for more content as well, you can check out the Green Ticker YouTube page, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube Music as Green Ticker Podcast. So let me know what you think. Let me know what are your own thoughts and opinions as well. Have yourselves a great evening ahead.